Hey guys, you are here with Faye from Raven Faye Special Effects.
And I am Glitch Prince from the channel IZHUNU.
And we are here for your Twintertainment.
Today we're going to be doing a review on Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Before we get started, let's answer some logistical questions that you might ask before, during, and after the movie. Question 1. How long are the trailers before the film begins?
25 minutes.
How long is the movie?
2 hours and 45 minutes.
Is it worth watching?
Absolutely.
Is it worth watching twice in theaters?
Not quite.
Is it worth recommending to a friend?
100%.
Are there any special viewing modes like Dolby Atmos or IMAX for this film?
Not quite.
What is the film rated?
R.
Is there a mid-credit ending?
Yes.
Is there a post-credit ending?
No.
Alright, let's get into the movie review. Okay, Faye, what was your initial expectation of this film before the movie even started? After seeing the trailer, I'm assuming.
Right. Super stoked, just alone, because Quentin Tarantino hasn't had a film in a little while. Not sure how long, so super stoked that another one was coming out. Tarantino, for me, is literally definitely top 5 director. But the most thing I was probably excited about was the cast, specifically, because we've got Brad Pitt, we've got Leonardo DiCaprio, we've got Margot Robbie, we've got Kurt Russell. Didn't really understand or have an expectation of the plot of what was going on. So I was like, okay, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was set in an older setting, 60s or so. So I was really excited about the cast and what they were gonna do, and really hoping that there was gonna be some good deaths. He's literally one of the reasons that I got into special effects makeup, was watching Tarantino movies in my youth. And his style of kind of cheesy, over the top, not always realistic, just out of this world kind of makeup. That's really one of the reasons that I love his movies and I watch them all the time.
And he loves the retro days. Which plot do you guys think this belongs in? There are 7 types.
I'm gonna say man versus man.
I'm thinking it's man versus self, because he's sort of having this internal struggle with himself and his career. It's kind of like Revenant in the exact same way, which is funny because that's exactly the last role Leonardo DiCaprio took.
Didn't he win an Oscar?
Which he won an Oscar for. They say there are only 7 types of stories, but what do you think it is? Let's talk about the nostalgic audio track. I noticed a couple of favorite songs, particularly Summertime, which was redone in the movie Stuck on You. Or a couple other songs that you liked, Faye.
So there was a cover of one of the Mamas and Pop songs.
So that wasn't the original I heard.
California Dreamin' now.
Oh, California Dreamin'.
Another very interesting thing about the movie and his nostalgic age. In real life, in the 50s and 60s, product placement was starting to be a big thing. TV was just starting to get around. This movie was jam-packed full of product placement. There was a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio was about to do the film and he was in the makeup trailer, and you can see the Aquanet just completely face straight to the camera. That was one of the first things I saw. All the other products had all the labels facing the camera, and so I like the fact that Quentin Tarantino did that, because it's kind of him poking fun at that era. The 60s and 70s, they were really known for random inventions. I guess one of the inventions that was in the film was Leonardo DiCaprio was making margarita, and he gets this ice thing and he just crunches it back, and it's these totally ridiculous inventions that are supposed to make things easier, but it's just silly.
So, word of warning, we are now going into the spoiler territory, and we're going to start with the question, which archetype do you believe this movie belongs to? And we have already decided that it is rebirth. Rebirth, by definition, is the protagonist undergoes a powerful transforming experience. And what do you believe that transforming powerful experience was during the film?
During the film, I definitely think that it's gonna be when he messed up on his lines and he went to the trailer and had a total BF. A BF.
What's a BF?
Bitch fit.
Which was a scene from the film that we were already quoting.
Cut! Embarrass yourself like that in front of all those goddamn people!
I would agree that scene where he says, oh, you had to have 8 whiskey sours last night. Couldn't stop at 3 or 4, could you? You know why? Because you're a freaking alcoholic.
Yep. During that part, I was like, yeah, I've been there. When he was like, you're going to give up alcohol. You're not going to do it anymore. And I was like, I've said that many times.
And he sips from the whiskey, right?
Then he takes a sip out the flask and then opens the door and throws it out the door. And that was his moment that he's like, I'm gonna straighten up.
I think the big and a cool shot scene was when he was looking in the mirror, but he was actually angled where the mirror was looking at the camera.
It was diagonal.
So that we could see him. Yeah, but it was diagonal. We could see, but he was looking at himself.
But he was also looking at us.
He was also looking at us, the viewers, through the fourth wall. And he was saying, if you don't straighten up, blow your fucking brains out. Yeah, that would be the transforming experience.
And I think something that reiterated that is when he had the conversation with the little girl.
That
It was like super adult
which
for a
is
little girl.
That was my favorite scene, by the way.
Yeah? Was it because she was so intellectual?
I know that it was Quentin's writing, but it was the scripting of the words. For example, she said, "I want to stay in character." Well, what's your real name? He's like, "I want to stay in character because I've read that if it helps you, it'll help you be a little bit better in the film, be a little bit better of it." But yeah, along with the fact that actors pursue and always fail, but it's the pursuit that's important.
All in all, to get back to it, he ended up having a scene with the little girl, and at the end of the scene, the little girl was like, "That was some of the best acting that I've ever seen."
The
Or
best.
that was the best, acting that I've ever seen. And the director complimented him, and at that moment, he was like, that's where he had his triumph. That's where he overcame.
Which is great because it means he has potential. He has the gift. He's just hobbling himself with the booze.
Sometimes a lot of us do that in real life. What surprised you, Glitch Prince?
I was surprised by the fact that the guy wasn't dead at Spawn Ranch.
The old dude?
I thought for sure he was murdered, and then I thought he was drugged, and then I just realized he was old senile and had himself a little young cutie.
Which
happens in real life, by the way, Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. I was looking for her, and I didn't find her.
Yeah, the way that they built that up, though, was, of course, leading the viewers to say that old man's dead.
Oh, yeah.
This Charles Manson family that lived there, which, if you didn't know, they actually did live on that ranch. And
Didn't know that.
yeah, and they, of course, it's going to lead you to believe that they killed him and took over his land or whatever.
I thought he was going to have more of an impact in the film, but I understand now what you were mentioning earlier before we shot this, about that this is based on real life. You told me about Sharon Tate. I didn't know she was a real actress.
Yeah. So I guess coming to that, Roman Polanski is first known, or mainly during that time, known for Rosemary's Baby, which was like a horror type of film.
And who was he in the film?
He was a Polish director, and he married Sharon Tate, which was an actress, and I guess an up-and-coming actress because she wasn't very big. And he married her, got her pregnant. He went out of town for some reason on this night, and ended up really being murdered by the Manson family because Charlie Manson sent them there and said, "Go ahead, and I want you to just kill these people that were there." But he thought that there was another family or somebody else there. He didn't think it was Polanski and Sharon Tate.
So there are 12 archetypes often found in movies. We're just going to go with our favorites, starting with Leonardo DiCaprio, aka Rick Dalton. And he was a Western cowboy who we would probably define as the everyman. Why do you think that is, Faye?
I would say he's the everyday man because he's like not the best of the best actors. He's kind of he's made it in Hollywood, lives there, moved in so he could be around it and everything, but he's not like the top actor chosen for every single role. He always gets chosen as the heavy, which, if y'all don't know what that means that he's the one that always loses.
And that was in Light and Tone by Al Pacino, who I think we would define as the magician. Makes dreams come true is the definition of a magician, and it was when he exposed to him how the movie business was trying to segue him out, like in the heavies, like you mentioned, always as the villain, and the magician offered him the out as in those Italian movies. As far as Cliff Booth, aka Brad Pitt, I would say he's either the hero or the caregiver. Caregiver definitely throughout the film for Rick Dalton.
And at the end, right after the Polish guy's watching TV, and the guy on the TV is like, "And now for the moment we've all been waiting for."
Which was what we were all waiting for.
Which I
Quentin
knew.
Tarentino.
I knew what
some
was
action
coming.
was coming.
But after that, he became that hero. Once he had that can in his hand and was about to chunk it right in that face. Ooh,
fiddling with it.
Ooh, that was good.
Absolutely.
That was good.
Another character worth mentioning, I suppose, is the little girl.
Yeah. Trudy.
Yeah, and I guess I would define her as the sage because she provided knowledge to him that kind of...
Right, she was that little inspiration that gave him that little extra. And then I guess probably the final one would be the innocent of the film,
which would be
Sharon Tate, which is Margot Robbie's character. Lovely pregnant woman, Roman Polanski's wife, and of course we all know that she was supposed to get murdered in real life, but in this fairy tale, she got to live, and it was beautiful. It was a good ending.
It was a nice ending, wasn't
Yeah.
it? All right, top quotes for the film. I would go, "My booze needs nobody."
That's a good one. One of my top quotes is the cheers that they did every time they were drinking. Said, "To my wife and all my sweethearts, may they never meet."
Another good one for me. It wasn't really a quote, but it was in all the cans of the dog food. I think was, well, actually, I think you noticed was a good foreshadow for how killer
Brandy.
the dog was at the end.
Good food for mean dogs. It said that right on the label. You knew that dog. Of course, it's a nice stocky dog. You knew it was going to be
Boxing.
right, an awesome one. Another one that I liked a lot was when Rick Dalton's character was crying, having a little crybaby fit. Brad Pitt or Cliff's character was like, "Don't cry in front of the Mexicans," and like gave him his glasses. It's like, you can't embarrass yourself in front of the Mexicans out here.
Another quote from me would be, "And away we go."
Which he said twice. First, when he smoked the cigarette doing the acid, which was great, by the way. But he also said it when he was getting taken away from the ambulance. So I thought it was the exact same way he said it. It was hilarious.
I just thought of Rick and Morty, so because that's kind of his slogan.
Is it? Nice. The final quote that I would probably say was my favorite was when they were in the scene with Bruce Lee, and he says, "Anybody kills anybody's going to jail." That's manslaughter, which is a good kind of way to bring us into that fight scene with Bruce Lee and Cliff.
Yeah, Bruce Lee. It's cool how Quentin Tarentino got away with it with Bruce Lee, because when I saw the fight scene, I thought to myself, who would win? I was like, I kind of want Brad to win, but of course Bruce Lee can't win, right?
Well, Bruce Lee can win.
You said that the daughter wrote that she was upset with that scene.
Yeah, I read an article.
But to be fair, Quentin wrote himself out because it was all in Cliff's mind, aka Brad Pitt's mind. So it's not like it really happened. It just happened in his head.
It wasn't in Cliff's mind that really happened in the movie.
No, it didn't.
No?
No, he was on top fixing the antenna. And
No, that was a flashback.
It wasn't a flashback. It was a daydream, because he wasn't allowed on set because the stunt man.
But that happened.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
No,
Yeah.
There was a what if in his head.
This is an argument. Maybe y'all can tell us.
What do you think happened? I think that Cliff Booth, aka Brad Pitt, was on top of the roof and was daydreaming while he was fixing the antenna because his buddy said you can't come because there's no work for you. He was thinking, well, what if I did come?
Yeah.
This is probably what would have happened. He's like, I better just stay.
The reason I think it is because he did that in the past, and that's why Kurt Russell's wife doesn't like him, because that happened on a set before. Because the set that he was going to was not the Green Hornet set. The set he was going to was a different set for a different movie.
It's a tough call. Kurt Russell's wife didn't like him because he killed his wife and got away with it. I don't think he did kill his wife. I think the boat was probably shaking and joshed him and pulled the trigger by mistake.
You know what? That's a good theory.
Do you think
Cliff
Booth killed his wife? And then also, do you think he imagined he fought Bruce Lee, like I think, or do you think that it was a flashback? Well, in real life, Bruce Lee had called Chuck Norris, who was notorious for his memes, like he doesn't do push-ups, he does earth downs. And all
yeah.
that. But Bruce Lee called Chuck Norris, and they're both in the fighting movie business.
Right.
And he says, hey, I want to fight you. And Chuck Norris thinks about the concept of like, well, are you going to defeat me in the fight? And Bruce Lee retorts, he says, no, I'm not going to defeat you. I'm going to kill you in my movie. And he's like, well, god dang.
So arrogant. But really.
And he does it so gracefully.
Yeah, I know, right? Just so naturally, like nothing.
But that sort of stuff is important for your reputation in the movie business.
Of course. Well, another really thing I liked about that scene is the cameos, which I'll kind of bring into that. Number one cameo that was my favorite was Kurt Russell. Grandma's obsessed with him, been obsessed with him. I grew up watching all Kurt Russell, like Big Trouble in Little China, all these different things, because of my grandma.
Which, if it is in the Quentin Tarantino universe, then that means that this must have happened before Death Proof.
This is what we kind of think. We have a theory, because obviously Kurt Russell was in Death Proof, which was later set, but Stuntman Mike has been a stuntman for years and years, a part of all these films that maybe not everybody had seen, and that was kind of Rick Dalton's character. Like, they weren't A movies or anything like that. He kind of had a shitty movie career. So maybe that's the same guy, it's in relation to it or anything. You never know. But Kurt Russell's wife, the one that hated Cliff, was actually Zoe Bell, which was also in Death Proof. She's the one that kicked Kurt Russell's butt and the end of it. And she's the one that like popped out and was like, I'm okay, after getting in the wreck and everything like that. But she's actually was a stunt coordinator for a lot of the stunts in this movie, and she's an actual professional stunt woman throughout a lot of other films besides Quentin Tarantino.
Which saves because you don't have to hire an actor and a stunt woman.
You got them all rolled up all in one, exactly.
Right, so Quentin Tarantino is known for his Easter eggs in his films. What do you believe are some Easter eggs that he may have hidden throughout the film?
There's definitely going to be quite a few things. Number one that I can think of blatantly in the mid-credits is the Apple cigarettes. Leo's doing that whole scene, saying how great they are, all that stuff, just like Lucy in the 50s and all that stuff. Those cigarettes have actually been referenced in quite a few other Quentin Tarantino films, like Pulp Fiction, The Hateful Eight, From Dusk Till Dawn. Another one would be, so he's always in all of his films, right?
Right.
Or basically
He
he's
acts in
always,
his films.
yeah, he acts in all of the
He
films.
was in one of the Reservoir Dogs.
Right. Dogs. Reservoir Dogs. From Boston.
City.
That character from Dusk Till Dawn, he was the brother. Ooh, Pulp Fiction. Anyway, so me and my friend Alan, my best friend Alan, were looking for him in this one. Didn't recognize him anywhere, so we had a theory that there was a shot where it was just a gun in a Ziploc bag after the death scene. And my friend Alan was like, "Oh, I bet that was Quentin Tarantino." I was like, "How do you know? It's just a guy walking with a bag. You can't see his face or legs or anything." And he's like, "I can tell by the way he's walking. That's him. I know it."
What do you guys think?
Tell me if you got what Easter eggs y'all saw, because I would love to know. I love knowing every little detail that are in things.
So this week, we're not doing a Guess That Quote. We're doing a Guess This audio clip. So go ahead and take a listen.
Is that as good for you as it was for me? Hey, what's going on?
And if you can recognize it, first one to recognize the audio clip is featured at the beginning of our next video.
Make sure you put it in our comment box so we know you're first.
Thanks for watching to the end. Remember, if you like our content,
Give us a thumbs up,
if you love it,
share it with a friend.
and if you want to see more,
Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
catch you next time.
And as always, check you later.